You ever had a feeling that someone's watching you? Or the sensation of someone following you? Many more feelings and sensations, for this is the After Dark podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of October podcast. Vince, what's going on, my man? I'm glad you joined. Now, this podcast, I do apologize for the visuals. Okay? One, I wasn't that prepared. Okay? So, let me explain what's gonna happen in this podcast. Well, since it's not all about visuals, just relax, sit back, and enjoy the show. I'm gonna be reading a lot of horror stories I have found on ye olde internet, and I have a couple of my own. So, I do hope you enjoy. Let me see. Where can I start? I have no idea. I don't know where to start. But one thing's for sure. Everybody in this world has had an encounter or something happened to them that, it's pretty horrible or scary at the same time. Yeah, a podcast. I don't know. I should have had a camera, right, for the podcast. But for right now, it's only visuals. Okay. So if you're doing homework, you can listen to this podcast. If you're just relaxing, you got home from work or from hanging out with your friends, you can always listen to the podcast. That's cool, Fins. Thank you for coming too, by the way. So, everybody has some sort of, how can I put it, like situation where they find themselves that it petrifies them, right? It just like it leaves them still for a bit. Okay, so we're gonna start this podcast off with one of my personal experience. Okay, when I was around 6 years old, I used to live by Mexico. Okay, and I used to live right next to, I believe it was a river. Okay, so my house was on top, and we would have to go down the stairs to use the river. So we would use this river for quite a lot of things, right? It was back in the 90s. So we didn't have money, and the only way to wash clothes is through the river. So everything was going fine up until one night. I decided to follow my mom with the laundry, with the basket laundry, and tell her, I want to help. I was around 5 years old. Took my toys down to the stream, and there it is. As the moon hung so high up, so bright, I could still remember it. I remember looking at a distance. In a distance, there was a lady in white. Okay. I turned around and I told my mom, "Hey, look, something's over there. Someone's over there. What do they want?" She turned around, and in shock, she actually told me to go up home without looking at the lady. That was a true story. True story. It actually happened. And of course, I cannot remember what happened after that, right? But years later, I did tell my mom about it, and she told me that, in the river, they actually raped and murdered a young girl. We never knew who she was, so we always called her the lady in white. Yeah, it's creepy, especially when it happens to you, So being 6 years old, you see something in the distance that, you can't comprehend. You're not going to be like, oh, dang, that over there is a ghost. What can you do? You turn around to your parents and you tell them what's going on. They don't want to freak you out. So they send you home. She was known as the lady in white over there in Mexico. And By the way, I translated everything that I said. It happened in English. I mean, in Spanish. My bad. But I translated it all in English. So, whew, that brought memories. And the thing is about these type of memories is that you will always remember them. You know, like no matter where you are or what you're doing. Like even though if they're just memories, like when you close your eyes, it just feels so real. Like if you're there, like if I were to go back there to the same river, the same spot, and if I would have seen the lady in white, I mean, I personally wouldn't be afraid because I seen much worse during my life, right? But it's always a freaky thought. Okay. So you guys can hear the rain is getting louder. Hopefully I can be heard better. And let's get started. I found this website called hauntedrooms.co.uk. And these stories is pretty much, I mean, it boggles my mind. Even though they're not real, but they seem real, right? Because when you're reading them alone or you're reading them to somebody else, you just get immersed in them. So I'm glad that you guys can hear. I'm glad you can hear too, Fins. Okay. So for example, this story is called There's Someone Under the Bed. Okay? And the description is as follows. Sometimes the very short ghost stories are the best. And in this tale, from Reddit via BuzzFeed, tells the story of a father putting his young son to his bed. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath the bed for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody in my bed." See what I mean? Even the stories that have just 2 sentences can have an impact. So the kid tells the father, "Hey, can you check under the bed for monsters?" Just like any little kid would, right? So as a father, you'll be like, "Yeah, of course, I'll check the bed under the bed for you." And to your surprise, you see your own kid under the bed telling you, "There's somebody in my bed." That one gave me chills. When I was reading it, I was like, "Damn, that would be creepy." Like, what would you do in that situation, right? Like, you would think, who do I get, right? Like, who would I grab? Like, who would I grab and take with me? That's creepy. This other story is called The Puppy in the Basement. Same website. Okay. It goes. The short ghost story found on Reddit, and it's super creepy. That's the whole description. And here it goes. Mommy told me never to go to the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy, and I wanted to see the puppy, so I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy, and Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad, and I cried. Then, Mommy told me never to go into the basement again, and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask her why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy, or why he had no hands or feet. Let that sink in for a bit, okay? While that's sinking in, I'm gonna take a water break. So it turns out that there was no puppy in the basement. It was a little boy with no hands or feet. Wow. I mean, that was more macabre than anything else, right? Um, hmm. A while ago, I did see like a video on somebody's house, right? That he found an actual tombstone in the basement. I think he was cleaning the house, right? So yeah, I like it too, right? It's different. So yeah, so this guy found a tombstone inside of his basement while he was cleaning. He doesn't know how the tombstone got into his basement. Nobody knew, but he found one, and there it was. Of course, it said the person's name and the year he was born and died. So it was a legit tombstone. So I would be surprised to see an actual tombstone on my basement. It would be creepy. Very, very creepy. You know, back when I was in middle school, I don't know, a lot of people won't know, but the middle schools, no, elementary school, my bad. In elementary school, the elementary school was called Logan Elementary School. Okay? This was a true story as well. It happened to me. So, and it was fourth, third grade, and there were rumors that somebody died in the underground parking lot that it had. And apparently, if you would have gone down there on a certain time, you would actually see blood under your feet. And of course, what did me and one of my brave old friends used to do? We would go into the to the parking lot and see it was true. Now, was it true or not? I don't know. We never found no blood, but the thought is always there. Yes, I have heard about that. People finding actual remains of people in like inside walls too. You know, for example, this other story that I remembered, that this couple, they were renting out a motel, I believe, for the night, and all of a sudden there was a stink, right? And they didn't know where it was coming from, so they flipped the bed open, and to your surprise, there were corpses under the bed. Wow. That would be... Oh, God. First of all, you're sleeping on top of corpses. And to find them there? I would have to bathe myself in holy water for that to stop, you know? It's just... very, very creepy. Alright. Yes. That's funny, but that would be very creepy. This other story is called The Ghost at Home, and the description follows. In one of my favorite short ghost stories, a man thinks that he loses his phone and someone is playing a trick on him. Turns out there's somebody playing with him, but it's a ghoul rather than a person. Submitted via Reddit by BuzzFeed. Let's read. Last night, a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, and after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call him. After 2 rings, someone answered. He gave out a low, raspy giggle and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone lying on my nightstand right where I left it. Okay. That one gave me chills as well, dude. Everybody's personal thing. The phone. Oh. Just imagine you're going to school or you're going to work, or like the story said, you guys are going to the bar to hang out. And all of a sudden you can feel that little panic you feel inside you, that like you can't you don't know where the phone is, right? So what you do, you try to call it. That's the first thing you do, right? You call your own phone. But now let's say you actually do get someone to answer your phone, and all of a sudden you see your phone right next to your bed where you left it at in the morning. Wow. That is very interesting. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to edit the video. Oh, I forgot to edit my own video and such. So let me do that. While we do that, oh, if I can do it, because I don't find no edit button. While we do that, how are you guys tonight? Hopefully you guys are really good. Hopefully you guys are having a really good day. Hopefully you guys had a really awesome October 1st, right? Just the way to start the month on a Monday, everybody's favorite day of the week. And not only that, it's like I said, it's October 1st. It's an awesome day to start the month on a Monday. Now, granted, it would be an awesome month if we would have had a Friday the 13th, but that's all based on luck. So let me tell you a little something about this podcast. Okay, so a couple years ago, I was just like sitting doing nothing. I remember, and it was pretty boring. And well, it was a night, of course. Now, no pun intended, but yeah. So one night, I'm all like, you know what? I want to do some type of like a radio broadcast. If I could do it, I would like climb up the apartment building and put like a radio antenna and do it, But I didn't. I didn't have the money for it. I was barely a graduate from the nursing school that I went to. And yeah. So years passed, and up until now that I have the opportunity to do something that I dreamed of a long time ago, it feels good. It feels really good. Remember, these are scary stories, but the point of me telling you guys this is that don't give up on your dreams. One more little tag and we will continue with the story. So while that's happening, enjoy the sound of the rain. Who doesn't like the sound of the rain? I like rainy days and just hear it. Okay? You see, October is awesome. Leaves change, and Fins, you're telling me about the leaves changing where you are. You're so lucky. I can't see the leaves change because of the area where I live. It doesn't allow that. Let's continue. next story is called Nunchucks. Okay. Michelle Froelich. I don't not know how to pronounce her last name. Middle name, Young, had a strange experience with her 2-year-old daughter submitted to a movie pilot. Okay. When my daughter was 2, I found her twirling paper towel tubes tied with twine in the air. I asked her what she was doing. She said she was practicing her nunchucks. I was very confused as she'd had no way of knowing what they were. I asked her what she meant, and she said that Adam had told her how to make them and showed her each night how to use them. She went on to say that Adam told her to practice because she may need to know how to defend herself someday. I almost freaked out, but asked her what Adam looked like. She said he was tall, blonde, and had blue eyes. She said, "Mommy, you know how he looks like. You know him. He died of a headache." I had to leave the room. You see, 4 months before she was born, my tall, blonde, blue-eyed martial arts professor friend had died of a brain aneurysm at the age of 27. She has not spoken to, she hasn't, I haven't had spoken to him since that day. So I'm not sure if I scared her with my reaction, or if she had completed her lesson. You know, kids have a lot of imaginary friends. Some good, some bad. And just to show that some imaginary friends out there are actually good. I mean, you see a lot of kids talking to themselves, and then we all laugh, right? At some point, we all talk by ourselves, right? We all had that imaginary friend that we would always play. But unfortunately, as our minds grow old, we forget them. Right? Good stories. Very good stories. So without skipping a beat, we shall go to another website. There we go. We don't want the screen to go dark. We gotta keep moving the mouse around. Okay. These next stories are from a website called thoughtcatalog.com. And these are 67 true stories to tell in the dark. Okay. Before we get into the stories, let's talk a little. I never went to camp. I was offered to go to camp. Like, I'm talking about like summer camp, where you would go to the woods. I'm guessing that's more of like a Boy Scout, Girl Scout type of thing. But when I was in elementary school, there were papers handing out, and I said no. By that time, I knew what was ghost stories. Okay, ghost stories, or anything else that had something to do with ghosts. I knew them. I never, like I said, I never went to camp. Do I regret it? Maybe. Because, who knows? Good memories, bad memories, seeing something that I've never seen before, or seeing everything that I've already seen. Who knows? We will never know because the opportunity left. If you had a chance to go to camp, would you? I wonder. Okay. So I'm guessing this story is by Babels08, and it's called Making Toast. Making toast late one night, facing the kitchen bench, eating for a good 5 to 10 minutes. Cleaned up and turned around, and every single cupboard door and cutlery drawer were open. They were all closed when I went to the kitchen, and there was no way anyone would have snuck in and done it because I was home alone. I also didn't hear them open the time I was there. It scared the shit out of me. So I froze. Let it register for a second, then calmly closed everything and went back to my room to hide until daylight. One of a few weird things that happened to me growing up. Wow. If I would have seen my drawers open. Okay, let me tell you this. To me personally, I find ghosts very, very interesting. Anything that has something to do with poltergeist, ghost, apparitions, disembodied voices, footsteps, they all sound intriguing to me. But the question is why? Like, let's say somebody died in a place, and it said that there are rumors that it's haunted. Why would anybody stay behind, right? Like for example, this one, like, let's say this man died or got killed by somebody he hated, and I get it. The ghost is still gonna be here for unsettling business, and he wants to get his revenge. But to who? The guy that murdered him probably died of old age, or died the next day. Who knows? He will never know. So why would ghosts stay behind? Unfinished business? Come on. I would like to hear more about camp. Camp sounds very interesting, especially at night, where everything bumping in the night comes out. The witching hour starts at 11, remember? And at 3 a.m. in the morning, we all know what that means. Let's take a water break. I really wish it was raining outside. That would be very lovely. It was, however, cloudy. So that's one up. Another story of mine that I have. I don't want to waste all these stories that I have. So this will be the last one, okay? Because we still got 30 more days of October and 30 more days of podcast. So let's not waste them all on just one run. It's like your parents would say, right? Don't waste all your money on one spot. Let's try to save the $1.50 we have in our pockets. We know the chips and Coke look good, but let's save them, okay? So when I was in high school, I used to go to Roosevelt High School in LA, East LA to be exact, California. And Roosevelt High School is very, very interesting. I personally moved a lot when I was a kid. We couldn't find a place to call home, so we would always leave for one reason or the other. And yeah. Hold up. There's 3 comics. Hopefully you don't mind reading me this. So, Finn said at his camp there were rumors one night people were saying a man with a gun was outside, but the next day they didn't know what I was talking about. I think they were trolling me, but they looked sincere. And this was at his camp. Now, it is a big issue with people running around with guns, because unfortunately a lot of people have died, not only in camps but in schools and in outside. And people with guns it's a scary thought, right? You don't want to come across one, because why would you? It's no reason, no point to be running across. But if you're still going to that camp, Fins, don't go outside at night. Bunker down with one of your friends or something. Be like, hey, I'm staying here for the night. But yes, let's go back to Roosevelt High School back in East LA. Roosevelt High School is a very interesting high school. I mean, it was when I was going to high school, and I was going for 1 year because, like I said, I did move a lot, and Roosevelt High School wasn't my first high school. So there were a lot of people and a lot of staff in there, especially my healthcare teacher, said that the R building, the biggest building in the whole school and in the middle, was haunted. The upper story of it said to be rumored that it caught fire. Okay, so they like locked the place up, so you couldn't. There was no access to the top floor, so it was all gated in. So one night, my teacher told us that he was coming home, like he was coming from home to work around 6 in the morning, 5 a.m., and said that he saw somebody just looking dead at him from the top window. I don't know. There's now I don't know if they still do it in Roosevelt, but when I was going to school again, there was a after graduation, I guess I would say, it would be like a dare, like many kids would dare each other to go to the top floor because it was the one time that the gates were open. I wanted to go. My friends, in the other hand, when I had them, they didn't want to go. They didn't want to risk seeing a ghost. I'm sorry you saw that at the bottom. But I wanted to go, and I didn't. So let's continue with the stories. That, by the way, that was the last personal story for today. Okay, I'll continue my personal stories and journeys as the month goes on. This one's short, and it's by @Stevens98 from the same website, thoughtcatalog.com. It's called The Last Day on Earth. I would go too, right? And it goes, I work from 2 p.m. through 11 p.m. at a gas station on one of the nicer cities around here, and I had a gentleman look me in my eyes and ask if I'm enjoying my last day on Earth. Walked away before I could even answer. Wow. I'm telling you, the shortest stories have the biggest impact. This man comes up to this boy working at a gas station and just tells him, how are you enjoying your last day alive? Do you guys remember back when a lot of people would say that the earth will end in the year 2000? And we're still here. And then I still remember it was 2006, and they would say that something big was going to happen on the 6th month, the 6th day on 2006. 666. Nothing happened. It was just a regular old day. And then back in 2012, I believe, a lot of people had said that the earth was going to end because of the Mayan calendar, and we're still alive. And yes, that would be very, very creepy, having somebody walk up to you out of nowhere. You could be working, you could be coming from school, you could be coming from work if you don't have a car, or you would be sitting in the car at the stoplight and some random person just knocks on your door. That's my dog. And say, how are you enjoying your last day on Earth? I would... I don't know. I would freeze in mid-traffic. Just be like, what are you talking about, man? But yes, now here's my theory. Yes, the Mayan calendar. You don't know that big old circle that a lot of people said that it was supposed to be predicting the end of the earth? You Google it, the Mayan calendar. It's a very interesting piece. I believe it's Mexican origin, and Like I said during in my past live streams, that I am Latino. I am have from Mexico, right? It's my culture, and I love my culture. All right, whether wherever you're from, whether you're Latino, full-fledged American, Asian, or European, you know, like who you are, love yourself. Don't let other people dignify who you are, right? I mean, like, yes, there's some bad Latinos out there. Yes, there are some bad Americans out there, but in the middle of all this randomness, chaos everywhere, you will find a handful of people that would tell you in the morning, "Good morning. How are you?" I had that happen to me so many times. I'm skating down the street, or walking with my mom, and they would say hi, "Good morning." You know, and I like that. And of course, you reply back with the most sincere, "I'm fine, thank you. How are you today?" And hopefully you're having a really good morning as well. But yes, back to the Mayan calendar thing. Let's say the Earth did end in 2012, right? How would we know? Or let's go back all the way to 2000, to the year 2000, where they said that the Earth was gonna end due to some I believe it was a computer malfunction or something. Let's say the Earth actually did end at that time once, and then in 2006, on the 6th month and on the 6th day, let's say it ended again, and finally, let's say the Earth ended on 2012. How would we know if the Earth ended? Like, let's say it did, but we're just living our lives like if it's just another day. We would never know. Nobody would ever know. I mean, maybe, have you guys heard of the Mandela effect? Maybe that's where it came from, right? So we died a couple years ago. That's why some of us can remember things that are not there anymore. Who knows? Who knows? Let's keep moving the cursor around a little bit. There we go. And let's go to another story. This story has no author, unfortunately, and it's called Raising a Serial Killer. It's short, sweet, and it will get to the point. We, and by we, I mean me, my wife, and my 3-year-old son, are sitting in the food court at Costco. There's another family with a 4 to 5-year-old girl sitting behind us. My son looks at me and says, "Do you see that girl over there? I'm going to teach her a lesson." Whoa, kid. You know what I would say? I would have been like, pump the brakes on that car that you're driving. Boy, what are you doing? You're at Costco, first of all. That's high society right there, right? Like, you can't go to Costco without a membership. That's high society. If you have one, live it up. You can't just be walking around and be like, "Hey, you see that guy over there? I'm gonna teach him a lesson." You can't do that. Come on. It's not socially acceptable, right? Don't pick a fight with people that you don't know. Like, even if people that you do know, it's like that one song goes, "Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?" Right? Why can't we all be friends? He sounds like your friend. Wow. You should tell him, "Yo, pump the brakes in your car, man. You're going a little over 100. I'm gonna need you to take that 10 all the way down to maybe like a 3 or a 1. All right, buddy? You should be telling him that, Fins. Be careful with that friend. Don't want you to get hurt." Let's continue with this other story by Broman Dude 69. Good name. And it's called Hello. Like Adele. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Right? That's how it goes, right? Let's go. Let's keep going. I went camping by myself in Maine. One night, I woke up at around 3 a.m. Not being able to fall asleep, I just lay there listening to the woods. Then I heard a faint hello. I was petrified. I felt so vulnerable in the tent, I never figured out what it was. Hopefully he is cool, man. Hopefully your friend is cool, Vince. Don't want you to get into a brawl. The next thing you know, you'll end up in that. You'll end up as a character in Street Fighter 10. But yes, hello, a disembodied voice, just like we said, just like we were talking about, right? I was gonna say another story of mine that happened, but let's pump it. Like I said, let's pump the brakes and let's talk about it. Who doesn't have the sudden urge or the feeling that you're being watched from somebody else or from somewhere else, right? So you turn around. You turn around and you see nothing or nobody, or maybe you're in a crowd of people, but they're also focused in their phones. But you do feel somebody's eyes just piercing at you, right? Or let's say you're home alone and you live in a big house, okay? Or a big apartment. I live in an apartment personally. And you're alone, and next thing you know, when you're walking down that hall, you actually do feel like if somebody's on you, right? So the hairs on the back of your head just stand up, or in my case, okay? In my case, whenever I do feel that way, my ears all of a sudden point up. Like, it may not look physically, but I could feel the tension in my ears just pointing upwards. Yes, you see, or having somebody tap your shoulder when that person is on your opposite side. This world is full of mysteries, and some of them can be solved, and some of them are just what just happened, you know, or why did it happen? I want to talk about everybody's, like, and I mean everybody's important utility, I guess you would call it, right? And it's your phone. Your phone, it's right there with you when you wake up, when you're in the middle of the day, and when you go to sleep, right? Who is not away from their phone sometime during the day? You know what's scary to me? Where I live, and I mean this literally, where I live, right here in the valley, there are a bunch of people on their phones and driving, right? So check this out. One time, when I was walking down the street, all of a sudden I see a car just like flying by, and didn't even notice the stop sign. And next thing you know, all I heard was the brakes, beep, and the person that was on the phone got out of the car and they got mad at the person that had the green light. Why would you do that? First of all, don't text and drive. Don't answer the phone and drive. Put that phone in the glove compartment. It can wait. I mean, you'll be saving a lot of lives. You'll be saving yourself from a horrible accident. Like, let's say you're driving, and next thing you know, you get a phone call. So, are you really gonna risk your own safety for just one phone call? Like, it could be your girlfriend or boyfriend or wife or husband. You know, establish that at the beginning. Hey, when I'm driving, I'm not gonna answer the phone. Friend does that to you, like he taps you on the shoulder and all of a sudden he's like looking the other way. Good old friends. Let's take a water break. But yes, And just like in that one story where the guy calls his phone, and next thing you know, somebody answers it, but he sees his phone in the nightstand. How do you explain that? I don't think you can. Because you know who answered the phone, and if it was somebody, they were nice enough to leave it back home. But if it wasn't somebody, then who? Or maybe you get those like ghost rings. You know what I'm talking about? When you have your phone in your pocket, and next thing you know, you hear that you have a notification, and when you open your phone, or when you turn on your phone, there's nothing there. That happens to everybody. The next story is called "Would You Like to Come Live in My Basement?" And it's by Angel X Damien. Yeah, you see, you should take that phone away from your sister, Vince. Be like, hey, I'd like to live another day, please. Thank you very much. Let's continue with the story. When I was 17 and worked on retail as a cashier, I had a very old couple come through my line buying a wok. The husband, who was at least 85, started making conversation with me about the wok and asked if I like Chinese food. Yeah, I like Chinese food. Do you want to go out with me to get some Chinese? He winks at me. No, sir. Thank you. Oh well. He looks a bit disappointed and turns to look at his wife, who is on the phone with somebody, talking about phones. Would you at least like to come home with me and live in my basement? With the pause, I go, what? No. The rest of the transaction took place in a terrified silence. His wife never said a word. I wonder to this day if he was trying to joke because he sounded so sincere, or if he was suffering from dementia or something. Something else that makes him not realize how creepy that sounds to someone young enough to be your grandchildren. Yeah, the title was creepy. Now, if an old man would come up to me and be like, yo, you want to live in my basement? I would have been like, first of all, what? But in all seriousness, I like Chinese food. I can make Chinese food. Your boy can cook. And I am a great Chinese food cooker, right? Anyways, why would you start a conversation about that? I mean, do you guys know what a wok is? It's a very big and deep pan. And it's pretty good to cook Chinese food, right? But who would know that? Like, if nobody knew about food, who would know that a wok is used for Chinese food? You're living in your parents' basement? Yeah, man. I'm sorry, man. I already got a basement occupied. Thank you, though. Next time, just have casual conversation with them. Oh, yeah. Thank you for the basement invite, but I already live in my mom's basement. So, I'm gonna pass. Yeah, wok is spelled W-O-K. Wok. It's like I said, it's a big old deep pan. I guess I can describe it. I have one. It's my kitchen, and like I said, I make some really good Chinese food. But yeah, why would you start a conversation like that? You know, especially when you're buying a wok. Like if you were at a Chinese food place, like one of those like little mom and pop restaurants, I would understand the question. Hey, you like Chinese food? Because I see you working here. But it's a retail store, man. Come on. Yeah. But to some other people, you know, a wok is just like a what? It's a big old hand. Okay. This next one's called Always Look Under the Bed by North Anger Abbey. Okay. So it's called Always Look Under Your Bed. Now, before we get started on this one, I haven't read these stories because I want to be as surprised as you guys are. One, okay, and two, under my bed is full of stuff. So demons in there, I don't think you guys can fit. Okay, so let's get started. My great aunt lived away out in the boonies by an old southern prison. This was before most people had TVs, so she had been listening to the radio, just like you're listening to right now, and found out that a violent rapist had escaped from the prison nearby. She walked into her bedroom and had one of those ugly, saggy mattresses and felt something under the bed. She said, something didn't feel right. And she slowly got off the bed and called the police. When they arrived, they found the rapist under her bed, holding a knife from the kitchen. He told them he had been waiting for her to go to sleep so he could rape her and stab her to death. Yes, rape is not cool at all. You know, I don't, how can I put this? I don't find it funny. And it's not appropriate. And there are actual cases out there like this story that actually happen. You know, outside in the world, whether it be a woman or a man. You know, rape is not cool. Don't do that. Stop it. Don't even think about it. Alright? You're not, like, why would you even do something like that? First of all, right? I mean, would it make you feel better about yourself? Or would it make you feel more of a man or in control? You know, I mean, why would you do that? Oh, there goes the black screen again. No, stop. There we go. Jason Gonzalez. What's going on, dude? Welcome to the podcast. We're just reading some horror stories. No, rape is not cool, dude. Come on. This next story is called We Found a Leg by Foam 83. I believe that's how you spell his name. While cutting lawn along this bike trail, me and a co-worker found mostly decayed, severed from the knee down leg. Cops were called, they questioned us, and we never found out any more about what happened. That was quick. That was a very quick one. Yeah, it's cool, man. I know. It's all fun. We're here to have fun, so. Don't take it too personal, all right? We're here to have fun. Now, about finding a leg while you're cutting grass. Right? What if one day, like let's say you go on your own, or you moved in with your parents again, or you helped your parents buy a house, and you're cutting their lawn or something, just like the story says. Next thing you know, you find a leg. A human leg. Now, I'm not talking about no chicken thigh, okay? They're delicious. But a human leg? Boy, if you don't. That's not nice. That would be very creepy. when I was there was no. I was gonna tell you guys another story. Actually, you know what? I think I could say it because this has something to do with limbs. Okay, not human limbs, animal limbs. When I was a kid, I would go to like the butcher shop, right, with my aunt, and she would always tell me, "Those are some witch legs right there," and she would point at the pig feet. Okay, why would you do that? Why would you tell that to a kid? You're looking at witches' feet. Come on, messes up with their psyche, and then years later they make a podcast about reading horror stories. That's so dumb. This next one's called Haunted Supermarket by Nightlight Bunny Fright. I like that name. I work in a supermarket, early shift, and part of my job is changing the shelf labels for a price change each day. Just as Wednesday gone, I was putting new labels on a shelf and hand soap when about 2 foot along the shelf from me, a bottle shot off and landed in the middle of the aisle. I looked along the aisle at my colleague and she just shrugged her shoulders and said, "Happens all the time." I've never directly witnessed anything else, but being one of the first on the shop floor each day, I am now questioning all the items that I see sitting in the aisles first thing and guessing I can't blame untidy customers for them all. I haven't tasted pig feet. Maybe I should. I mean, right? flying super things, like flying items in the supermarket. That's creepy, right? You're working. Oh, this reminds me of a video I saw a while back. That this man, he was working, I guess, at a blockbuster. Oh, hold up. I so said that wrong. A blockbuster, okay? A video rental store. Put it that way. Scratch that first one. He was working there, and in the camera, you could actually see the videos just like fall off the shelf, one by one. And the dude, he would like pick them up, not knowing anything, and just shove them back. And after I think like the 4th try, he ran. I believe you can eat pig feet. I think it's done in like a soup kind of thing. I am not 100% sure. I like cooking, but haven't touched any pig feet. Let's take a little water break as we enjoy the sound of the rain. Once again, I do apologize for the background. It's not meant to be visual, but more audio, right? So I do apologize for that. Yeah, pig broth, right? I think soup. Pig soup. This next story is called "Please Don't Do This at Home," and it's by Solaire. Oh God, I cannot pronounce the name. It's by Solaire Lu Soup. I do apologize for butchering that name. Okay, I do apologize. So it's called "Please Don't Do This at Home." I'm telling you guys, don't do this at home. If it's something scary, don't do it at home. Please. This is a story from my mother. She was home alone for a while and was expecting a friend over and was taking a shower. In case her friend came while she was still showering, she left a note on the front door that said, "I'm in the shower, come in." While she was in the shower, she heard a knock at the bathroom door and she said, "I'll be right out." When she got out of the shower, nobody was there, and a few minutes later, her friend pulled onto the driveway. Don't do that at home. Jason was chatting. He was just messing around in the chat. It's cool. We like to mess around every once in a while. But yes, don't do that at home. Don't leave a note saying, "I'm in the shower, please come in." You will attract people, and not the people that you want to attract. Okay? Just like this lady, she said, I mean, okay, let's go back to the phone thing, right? You have a phone. Why would you leave a note out? Don't leave notes out. Be like, "Hey, yo, Margaret, listen, just in case you come like early, I'm gonna be in the shower, okay?" Because you don't want to leave your door open. Like, what if somebody comes in and they catch you like that, vulnerable? Come on, your feet are wet. You have hardwood floors. You try to escape, and next thing you know, boom, to the ground. Let's read a couple more stories. Oh, look at that. Speaking of things and phones, I actually got a message from one of my dear old friends. Let's see if he wants to share it. Meanwhile, let's read another story. Let's move on. Let's read this one. It's called "Who Was There?" And it's by Why So Comical. Margaret, don't come in. And it goes, "I have dogs that bark at anybody. My mother doesn't live with me nor has a key to my house. About 4 years ago, I'm sitting in my own home, alone on a day off from work. Both my dogs hovering over me, one of my feet and one in the doorway, leading into the hallway. It's quiet. I am Redditing or doing whatever on the internet. I hear my mother's voice clearly say Brian, like she was trying to get my attention from across the house. I just peeked my head up a little stunned, thinking I was hearing things. However, my dogs, as soon as I perked up, so did they, and started growling, really fierce, in the direction the voice was heard from. We went to inspect the house, but nothing was there. Haunted houses. Nothing says Halloween or horror like haunted houses, right? Anything can be haunted at this point. Hell, even your toaster can be haunted, you know? You can be putting your toast and next thing you know, a burnt face comes out of it. But yeah, haunted houses. Now, hopefully, my friend doesn't mind me saying this, but I'm glad that he's moving closer to me. That way we can hang out a lot more. But his new house, let's hope to God, is not haunted. I don't want him to leave back to LA. Don't leave. Please. I'm bored here. Your toenail has been haunted for 4 years. It's just like that one episode from Courage the Cowardly Dog. You remember? I don't know if you ever seen the show where Houston gets like a foot fungus, and next thing you know, like, turns out that like his foot just becomes a mob. It's gonna happen to you, Fins. Call your dermatologist. Dermatologist. Call him quick. This next story is called Watch by Treat Me Like a Table. Okay. Treat you like a table it is. It's called Watch. And it goes. Nice of you to come, dude. I really do appreciate you being here with me. I feel much safer. And it goes. This happened quite a few years ago when I was at university. My friends and I were living in a ground floor flat, and my room was in the front of the building outside. Outside my window was the front garden. My boyfriend at the time and I had literally just finished having, oh god, literally having sex. And I put my head on the pillow and glanced to my right, which is where the window was. There was a gap between my curtain and the window, and I was met with a pair of eyes watching me. We both, me and the peeper, had the instant look to look away and then quickly look back at that point. At that point, I shouted to my ex that there was someone watching us from the outside. He jumped, opened the window, and shouted various amusing warnings. He could see that the grass was disturbed, so that somebody had been there, and by the look of it, more than once. From further inspection the next morning, we found that he had jumped in the small hedge and exited through my neighbor's garden. Don't worry, Fence. Oh, let's just make a couple more stories, and then we'll call it a night. But yes, peeping toms. Don't be a peeping tom. Why would you do that? Well, I mean, okay, so if you're looking at if you're looking at a YouTube video from the comfort of your home, would that be a peeping tom? Right? I mean, you're looking at the activities of the person that's making the videos. I'm just saying. But yeah, peeping tom. Oh, dude, that would be very, very creepy. Especially if you're at the most very intimate moment with the partner, and next thing you know, you see somebody outside just looking dead at you. I'm surprised that this person didn't even offer her a cigarette. Be like, hey, yo, you want a cigarette? Who knows? This next one's called Hospital Ghost by... Ooh, these are very hard names to pronounce, okay? The Hospital Ghost, and it's by Munin Moraine. I do apologize if I'm butchering your name. And it goes. I'm a nurse, and I used to work day shift at my old job. I was walking down the hallway with my computer on wheels. COW. That's the acronym, right? To pass meds one afternoon. I was in between two patients' rooms, not really close to either door and far away from the nurse's station and kitchenette. I could hear one of the physical therapists talking to a patient in one of the rooms, but no one else was in the hallway. I was looking down at my papers to kind of get myself organized before going to see another patient. All of a sudden, to my right ear, like somebody was standing right behind me. I hear a female voice say, "I'm cold." Can you guys hear that? Hopefully you can. It said I'm cold, okay? I was trying to be creepy. I apologize. I'm cold. In a kind of jokey way, like somebody would do a big shiver and rub their arms and say, "Bird, I'm cold." I turned around thinking it was my friend Brittany goofing on me, but there was no one there. There was no one in the hallway at all. something to know about me personally. I'm a nurse, and I used to work at two clinics before moving here. One of them being an OBGYN clinic, and another one, which I am not going to say because I am going to wait until tomorrow. So that's going to be tomorrow's story. And I personally never had this happen to me, but I've seen some things, okay? Some things that we are going to talk about tomorrow. So remember, my personal stories are done for today. One final thing to say. Hopefully you guys are really having a really great evening tonight. If you guys missed the first live stream, I did play Overwatch. It's on my channel right now. This next one's called The Toilet Ghost by Pedant Christ. Pedant I Christ. I don't know. A toilet ghost, right? And it goes. As a child, I walked into the toilet in my great-grandfather's house. I lived with him for a while, and he was sitting in the toilet and had not locked the door. I spurted out an apology as I backed out and shut the door. Then I stood on the other side of the door and realized that he had died some time before. Shook my head and went back into the empty toilet. I have never really forgotten the feeling of, well, that simply is not real. Who here has walked into someone in the toilet like that? I've been walked into the toilet like that. Come on, knock first. Okay? You have your hands, your knuckles. Make contact with that door and knock. Be like, hey, is anybody using the bathroom? But yes, walking in on your grandfather, but all of a sudden realizing that he was dead, that would be creepy. Very creepy. Somebody walked in on you, Fins? It feels horrible. Or you walked in somebody. Okay. Speaking, okay. This is the final story, okay? Final story me is not a horror story, but since we are talking about toilets, let me tell you a story of what happened to me when I was in 6th grade, I believe. Me and my friend at the time, we were like playing tag, right? And of course he was faster than me. Damn it, he was built for speed. I was built to roll, I guess. And my great idea was to go into the bathroom and just like hide out in the stall, right? And what did I do? I went to the last stall, and it was locked. Now, put this in your mind, right? Adrenaline was pumping. I was being chased. No time to think. What did I do? I shook the stall, right? Like, come on, open. And next thing you know, I think I broke the hinge. But I broke the hinge, and I swung the door open, and the poor guy, he was there just like looking at me with the face of defeat. My boy, I am truly sorry if you ever come across this podcast. And please, I do apologize for barging in the stall like that. I was being chased. The stakes were high. Okay? The stakes were super high. All right, let's do one more story, and we'll call it a night. And this one's short. It's called The Haunted Clocks. Now, everybody has a haunted clock. I mean, okay, hold up. Let me rephrase that. Everybody has a clock in their house, whether it be haunted or not. But everybody has it. Okay. Especially they get like, if you have like more than one, like when you're trying to sleep and you hear nothing in the house, all of a sudden you hear the tick-tock, 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 like in your ear, and it gets super loud as you try to focus on something else. Yeah, I had to do what I had to do. Listen, I was gonna be it, and at that time, I didn't want to be it. So he, he happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I do apologize to that guy that was in the toilet. So let's talk about the Haunted Clocks by Focusly. And this will be the last story for tonight. And it goes. At our old house, the clocks in my nightstand always jumped ahead by 5 minutes. Increments every few days. I changed it out. Electricity, battery powered. Any clock that was in my nightstand would do it. Watched our room to make sure no one was messing with me. It was just weird. That is weird. Like your clock all of a sudden is in good time. Like you look at your wristwatch if you have one. You look at your phone, which your phone is most definitely up to date with the time. And next thing you know, you see your digital clock in your wall or your analog clock in your wall. And next thing you know, it's like it's in perfect sync, but all of a sudden it jumps time. So what you do? You smack it, or you change the batteries. Be like, okay, yeah, probably the battery's drained. Toss it out. Pop open a brand new pack, and you're good, right? But that's always not the case. So, haunted clocks. That was interesting. Very straight to the point. Have you guys seen any good horror movies? That would be good. Speaking of haunted items, if you guys haven't seen the movie, oh god, it's a Stephen King's movie. It's the car. It's the evil car. I forgot. Let me Google it. Hold up. But keep in mind, horror movies, okay? I forgot what's it called. It's not the Goosebumps movie. It's not the Goosebumps, okay? I was gonna call it Carrie, but it's not Carrie. That's another movie. Christine. There we go. I believe it's a 1957 Plymouth Fury car. Those cars are beautiful, by the way. It's just amazing. But yeah, that's a pretty good movie to watch. If you guys haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. All right, go watch it tonight. It's a perfect time to watch horror movies right now. Over here where I live, it's super cloudy. You can't see the moon, but you can see the street lights. You know, just dim the lights, cuddle with your loved ones, or, you know, be by yourself if you're brave enough, and watch the movie. You know who you are. Watch horror movies, damn it. Herbie fully loaded. Yo, okay, hold up, because that could also be haunted. It could be considered a haunted car. Dude, I swear to God, if I would have gone to the junkyard and a goddamn buggy would start like pushing me, be like, hey, yo, get me, I would be like, boy, if you don't stop, I will smack the fluids out of you. That's funny for Herbie fully loaded. Anyways, guys, this has been episode 1 of many episodes to come. Like I said, it was a dream. It's a dream come true for me, and the fact that I can share it with you guys, it's an amazing feeling. It just feels like if I am in the radio station right now. All I would need now is the on-air sign and the cigarette, and I guess I'm good, right? That's what they do on radio stations back then. I don't know. I've seen movies, but never really paid attention. But yeah, how you guys like it? Narrating, just chilling. Like I said, I do apologize for the visuals. And like I said, this is a podcast. It's not meant to be for the visuals, just for the audio. And hopefully, the thundering, the sound that you hear is a pretty good ambiance, right? That's the word I'm looking for. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for coming. I really do appreciate you guys staying here. If you guys watch this on YouTube afterwards, thank you. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so. I'll leave a link in the description. Send horror stories to me. I like to read them, and if you don't mind, I'll read them out loud next episode. Episode 2 coming tomorrow, same time. Follow me on Instagram if you want. I am a digital artist, and I do post every Wednesday from 8 to 9 a.m. California time. Every Wednesday and Saturday. But this time, since it's October, I'm going to be posting every day. Inktober's here, baby. And I am going to be posting all of my designs that I have for my project. You guys want to know the name of it? The project's called Celestial. And I'm going to try to make it a thing. Hopefully have some merchandise with the designs that I have. That would be cool. Really glad you enjoyed it, Bruno. Hopefully you can stay here longer tomorrow. Thank you, Vince, for your awesome support. Both of you are amazing. You're good people. And on that note, remember to always look under your bed, check the closet for monsters, and always, and I mean always, look behind you. Because you may never know if somebody's watching you from afar. Peace out, everybody. Have a great night.